Think about your home right now. The living room where you watch TV, the hallway you walk through all the time, the bathroom you go into almost with your eyes closed, the bedroom where you know every corner. It's the place you trust the most. And exactly because of that, when it happens, nobody understands. A silly stumble, your foot catching on something, your body losing balance, and in the blink of an eye, you're on the floor. After 65, a fall isn't just a scare. It can mean a fracture, surgery, months of recovery, fear of walking alone, even being afraid to shower without someone nearby. And the most intriguing part is that in many cases, it wasn't bad luck or a lack of attention. It was simple things, everyday objects that had been there for years, quietly raising the risk while everyone thought they were harmless. When health professionals study the causes of falls in older adults, one number keeps showing up. Most accidents happen inside the home, not on the street, not on a mall staircase. They happen in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the living room, at the edge of the bed. And behind many of these falls, the same culprits keep appearing. Rugs, loose slippers, cords crossing walkways, little stools, low pieces of furniture used for support. Things you see every day, but no longer recognize as dangerous. Maybe this has already happened to you. You slipped near the bathroom, almost fell when getting out of bed, tripped over a charger cable, lost your balance stepping onto a small stool just for a minute. In the moment, someone laughs, you brush it off, say it was nothing. But if that stumble had been just a little stronger, the story could have been very different. That's exactly what this conversation is about. 5 objects in your home that increase the risk of falls after 65, and that many people have never really stopped to examine calmly. You'll understand why they're so dangerous, in which situations they cause more accidents, and what you can adjust without turning your home into a sad place full of impossible rules. The idea is to open your eyes to details that, if adjusted today, can prevent a lot of pain tomorrow. Before we go on, do this. Write your age in the comments and answer honestly if you've ever fallen or almost fallen inside your home in recent years. If you take care of an older parent, mother, or other relative, say in which room most stumbles happen. This exchange helps us understand where the biggest dangers are and also shows other people that this is much more common than it seems. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, whenever a new alert comes out about safety and health after 60, you'll get the message and won't have to rely only on luck to avoid problems. Sometimes, moving a single object out of the way is all it takes to prevent a fracture that would change your entire routine. In the next segment, we'll start with the king of traps, that item so many people use to decorate the house or protect the floor, but which, after a certain age, becomes one of the main causes of falls at home. Let's start with an old acquaintance in almost every home: rugs. In the living room, in the hallway, by the door, in the bathroom, next to the bed. In many houses, they're everywhere. The idea is to decorate, protect the floor, warm up a room. After 65, though, these same little rugs move to the top of the list of villains when it comes to falls. Think about your path inside the house. You get out of bed, take your first steps, still half asleep, and already run into a little rug near the nightstand. Your feet aren't fully steady, your balance is still adjusting, your vision sometimes takes a bit to focus. If the edge of that rug is curled up, wrinkled, or sliding over the floor, all it takes is your heel or toe catching for your body to lunge forward without warning. In the living room, the scene repeats. A big, fluffy rug that hugs your feet. Pretty comfortable, but sliding over a smooth floor. When someone gets up from the sofa, takes a slightly awkward step, turns sideways, they unknowingly pull the rug with their own weight. In a second, the ground slips out from under their foot. For someone with slower reflexes, vision problems, leg pain, or taking medications that affect balance, this is the perfect recipe for a fall. The bathroom is another critical point. A small rug in front of the toilet, another at the shower exit, often with worn-out suction cups or no real grip. Wet tile, a bar of soap slipping, steam from the shower, everything contributes to making the floor slicker. Then comes the loose mat, which folds, slides, and sends your foot out from under you. A fall there with hard tile and sharp edges around is usually much more dangerous than a stumble in any other room. Narrow hallways, long runners, Rugs that don't cover the entire floor and leave loose edges also count. Many people get used to kicking the rug to straighten it, not realizing that every time it bunches up or slides, it's setting the scene for a future scare. It's common to hear things like, "I know my house, I've never fallen here," until the day they fall for the first time. That doesn't mean every rug needs to disappear overnight, but it is important to face reality. The more loose pieces, wrinkles, folds, and mats without proper non-slip backing, the greater the risk. Especially for those over 65, using a cane, feeling dizzy from time to time, or having trouble seeing. In many cases, switching to models that grip the floor better or simply removing a few of them already cuts down the chance of accidents. In the next segment, we'll connect this danger on the floor with another item many people underestimate: what you put on your feet to walk around the house. There's no point fixing the rugs if your slippers or sandals leave you slipping with every step. It's the combination of these two that knocks so many people down without anyone really understanding why. Now look down at what's on your feet. After 65, what you wear inside the house can protect you or knock you down without warning. A lot of people spend the whole day in the same old pair of slippers, loose sandals, slick footwear, because it's more comfortable. But in practice, that comfort turns into a trap. Very worn slippers with loose straps make your foot slide around inside. With every step, your heel comes in and out, the slipper lags behind, the front folds, the sole twists. All it takes is a wrinkled rug, a damp spot on the floor, or the corner of a piece of furniture for your foot to catch and your body to go forward. The person doesn't fall because they were clumsy. They fall because their base was unstable from the first step. Slippery sandals that don't hold your heel are risky too. On smooth surfaces like ceramic or polished tile, a tiny slip becomes a full-on skid. Sometimes the person tries to grab anything nearby, a chair, table, drawer handle, and ends up with two problems at once: the fall and the piece of furniture coming down too. There are also those who prefer to walk around in socks, thinking it protects them from a cold. Socks on a smooth floor are an open invitation to slip, especially in hallways and near stairs. If your feet don't respond as quickly, if your legs hurt, if you have vertigo, or take medications that affect balance, this kind of carelessness becomes even more dangerous. Now combine everything you saw in the previous segment. Loose rug plus floppy slipper plus hurried step equals the perfect scene for a little fall that, after a certain age, can turn into a big problem. That's why choosing better footwear to use inside the house isn't nitpicking. It's part of taking care of your safety. Shoes that fit the heel well, don't slip easily, have a more grippy sole, and don't let your foot float inside help a lot. They don't need to be expensive or ugly. They need to be stable. If, when you walk, you feel the shoe tilting inward or outward, if you have to drag your feet so it doesn't come off, if you're always tripping on the strap, something is wrong. And it's not just during the day. At night, when you get up to go to the bathroom, still drowsy with the house dark or dimly lit, the wrong slipper is twice as risky. That's why it's worth having a sturdy, easy-to-put-on pair next to the bed, always in the same place so you don't go feeling your way around barefoot or with whatever happens to be lying on the floor. In the next segment, we'll talk about something many people consider irrelevant, but that shows up in countless fall reports: cords, power strips, and chargers cutting across walkways. Those are the discrete cables running right through your usual path at home, just waiting for one wrong step to hook your foot from behind. Picture your living room in your mind right now. The TV on the wall or on the stand, the internet modem, a phone charger, maybe a floor lamp or a fan. All of that needs power. And when the outlets aren't exactly where you'd like them to be, the famous home patches appear: extensions, power strips, cables running from one side of the room to the other. For a long time, it doesn't seem like a problem. You know where to step. You avoid them without even thinking. But after 65, vision, balance, leg strength, and reaction speed are no longer the same. At night, with dim lighting, or in a rush, that thin, almost invisible cord becomes a tight rope at the perfect height to catch your foot. The same thing happens in bedrooms. Phone chargers next to the bed, lamp cords, fan cables, all tangled near where you enter and exit. Sometimes one part hides under the rug, another shows near the edge. When your foot catches on one of these, your body lurches forward And you don't always have time to steady yourself in the kitchen. There are extensions powering the microwave, water filter, coffee maker, air fryer. In many homes, the solution is to pull a cable from far away. The scene repeats. Someone walks by carrying a plate. Their foot hits the cord, the object falls. They try to save what they're holding and end up on the floor too. The problem isn't just the cord itself, but the combination. Cord plus loose slipper plus rug plus hurry. Each element on its own is risky. Together, they multiply the chances of an accident. That's why it's worth rethinking where appliances are placed, shortening cable runs, using clips or organizers, and avoiding any wire crossing the exact spot where you walk all the time. That if you walk into every room in your house today and calmly look at the floor, you might be surprised by how many improvised cables have already become part of the scenery. Your eyes get used to them, but your feet don't. And they're the ones that pay the price when something goes wrong. In the next segment, we'll talk about two groups of objects that, in theory, were placed there to help, but end up knocking down many older adults every year. Stools, makeshift stepladders, and low, unstable furniture used as support. They are helpers that, in practice, act like a push toward the floor. Now think about everything you use to reach higher places. The kitchen cabinet, high shelves, the top storage of your wardrobe, boxes on top of closets, curtains. Many people turn to the same things: an old stool, a wobbly chair, a metal stepladder that's already shaky but still in use because it still holds up. Climbing onto something unstable after 65 is one of the riskiest things you can do at home. A small loss of balance, a knee that gives out, a brief dizzy spell, and your body comes down from up high with much more force. The consequences are often serious: hip, wrist, shoulder, or head fractures. Even so, it's common to hear, "It's super quick, I'm just grabbing something up there." That rush is exactly the problem. Chairs weren't made to be ladders. Narrow stools reduce your base of support and demand coordination that often isn't 100% anymore. And old step ladders with worn rubber feet and rusty frames slip easily. Add smooth floors, slippery slippers, and arms that aren't as strong as before, and you have a silent risk built right into your routine on the other side. There's the low, unstable furniture you use for support without realizing it. Small tables, benches, chairs that sag in the middle, fragile nightstands, loose headboards. When getting out of bed, many people lean on whatever is nearby. If that object isn't steady, it comes along with you and you go down. Picture the scene. You're lying down, decide to sit up, put your hand on an old chair to push yourself up. The chair slides or tips over, and your body follows. Or you're sitting on a low stool in the kitchen, try to stand up quickly, it tilts sideways, and you lose your base. In both cases, it feels like your leg didn't help, when in reality the support wasn't safe. After a certain age, any piece of furniture you use to sit, stand, or lean your weight on needs to be chosen carefully. It has to be stable, the right height, not slide easily, and not wobble when you touch it. Swapping some of these pieces or changing how they're used often prevents falls that could totally change your independence. In the next segment, we're going to turn all of this into a kind of simple inspection you can do at home. A mental step-by-step to identify these 5 objects, adjust what you can, and shrink your risk of accidents without turning your home into a cold place full of bands. Now that you've come this far, you already know the 5 big, silent villains: loose rugs and runners, unstable slippers and shoes, cords and extensions crossing your path, stools and makeshift stepladders, low and fragile furniture used for support. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this information in your own home, starting today? A good start is to imagine you're doing a small inspection. Begin with the living room and hallway floors. Is there a rug that's wrinkled or curling at the edges? Does any runner slide when you walk over it? Are there cords running from one side to the other? Then go mentally into the bedroom. Is there a loose rug next to the bed? Are the slippers that stay there firm, or do they slip off easily? Near your walking path, is there a phone charger or lamp cable crossing where you step? The thing you use for support when getting up: chair, nightstand, headboard. Is it solid or does it wobble? In the bathroom, look at small mats with worn-out suction cups or no real grip, a slippery floor with no grab bars that towels, clothes, and objects scattered along the path to the toilet or shower. In the kitchen, ask yourself, do you climb onto stools, chairs, or old step ladders to reach cabinets? Is there an extension cord in the middle of your route, connecting an appliance from one corner to another? You don't need to fix everything in a single day. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this information in your own home? Starting today, a good start is to imagine you're doing a small inspection. Start with the points that scared you the most while listening to this video. Sometimes removing 2 rugs, changing 1 pair of slippers, and retiring a stool already drastically lowers the risk of a serious fall. If you have a younger family member, ask for help to carry out this inspection. A fresh pair of eyes sees dangers that your routine has already normalized. Remember something important: adapting your home doesn't mean you're getting weak. It means you're respecting yourself. Someone who has lived so much, worked so hard, and walked so far deserves to live in a space that protects them, not one that works against them. Every obstacle removed today is one less fall in your future. Now, tell us in the comments which of these 5 objects you recognized most in your home. Was it the living room rug, the loose slipper, the charger cable, the old stool, the piece of furniture you always use to pull yourself up? Writing that down is a way of committing to some change and also helps other people recognize themselves in your story. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good moment to do it and turn on notifications. That way, new videos with guidance for people over 60 will reach you without effort. And if you know someone who's always saying, "I fell out of nowhere, it was just a scare," send this content to them. Sometimes what looks like chance is just the sum of dangers no one had stopped to notice. At the end of the day, your home should be a place of protection, not surprise. Taking care of these 5 objects today is a simple way to make sure you keep walking through your own rooms with more safety, confidence, and independence for many years to come.